And go upstairs.
You're welcome to the Cruising is Life podcast. Whether you're a seasoned cruiser or just starting out, we have something for everyone. So sit back, relax, and get ready to set sail with us on the Cruising is Life podcast.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Cruising is Life podcast. Welcome back for another one of our weekly episodes. We are joined by special guest Antonio from Cruising with Calandra. How's it going, buddy?
What's going on, guys?
Good to have you here, and we're also joined by
Yes.
Dimitri as always as well.
How dare you?
Justin
He called
couldn't
you
make it
Justin.
today.
Typical.
But Antonio, if you want to quickly just tell everybody about yourself, shout out your channels and everything like that. I also have links to everything down in the description here on YouTube as well.
So what's going on, guys? My name is Antonio. I live up here in Jersey. I am a drone pilot and film all the cruise ships here in New York Harbor and New Jersey. And my channel is Cruising with Calandra. Also work for a tugboat company. Very familiar with the area. Been on 17 cruises, going on another one in May. Just came off of MSC. That's why we're here to talk about it. And yeah, just go give me a follow. I'm on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Give me a follow. It's all same name on all the other platforms.
Awesome. And yeah, and links to his Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everything are down in the description here on YouTube, and I'll have that on Spotify and Apple and all that stuff as well. But yeah, glad to have you on, and yeah, we're here to talk about your recent cruise on Meraviglia.
Yes. So yeah, I'll get started. It was surprising at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like first time on MSC, have to admit, food was fantastic. Service was fantastic. I don't know why everybody blasts MSC for service. Every server, every waiter was really nice. They catered to my family. Best pizza at sea. The ship is gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. Very clean. And there's so many parts of it. I mean, I live streamed on TikTok every night, but so many different atmospheres. And it definitely compares when you walk on the inside, it definitely compares to Royal Caribbean's like atrium, like the middle, like we have Sorrento. It compares to it. And it also has the big LED screen that goes the entire length of all of it. And that's awesome because they put shows on. And it's so awesome. And then like all the parties, like, I mean, I went to the parties just to film, but like very energetic. Like a lot of people, like, you know, when you go to a party and there's not that many people there, every party was packed. The white party, the goodbye party, everything was packed. And
That's cool.
Yeah, the room was a little small, but I'm a family of four, so I'm okay with that.
Tight.
But
What kind of room did you guys have?
I had a regular balcony, deluxe balcony. So it wasn't too, I have like, my daughter slept in the bed. We had the couch laid out, and my son was in a packing play, which was very nice compared to other lines. They gave my son a blanket, a pillow, a padded thing. On regular cruise lines, they just give you the regular, just the whole thing without no sheets or anything. So I enjoyed that. And the only thing I would say was negative about it was when you disembarked, especially in Canaveral, it was terrible. It was so bad. Yeah, it took me 45 minutes to get off.
Wow.
It took me just to wait because of how everything zigzagged and everything like that. And then disembarkation wasn't too bad. It was my first time doing it from Brooklyn. First time I sailed from Brooklyn. That wasn't too bad because they do the same thing. They give you a number. Like you go pick the only thing I didn't like about it was it went by decks. So obviously the yacht club gets first priority, but then it was like all the way to, I was like number 47. So when you go down there and you wait. But what was good about it was, like I said, they catered to my family. We had a stroller. They let us go ahead of everybody, which was awesome. And we got up the ship really quick. And then Brooklyn's like it's a little hectic because you get off and like, oh, drop off. It's like the airport. You know when you guys get dropped off at the airport or get picked up? Oh, go. Like that's how it was. But and it was freezing because I went from 85-degree temperatures to 30. That wasn't fun. But overall, I have to give it a solid 8. I have to admit, I'm a big Norwegian person, and comparing it to them, it was equal, even better. Like there was, like I went on the Joy at the end of August. There was a lot of things I've noticed cutbacks. Like the one time they cleaned the room. There's things in like they don't give you certain perks. I went on MSC. My guy cleaned my room twice a day.
Oh wow.
They were very clean. They were very like, you needed something. Like when I was on the Joy, I had to wait for the packing play. When I got to the room, I said, "Sir," I was like, the crib's not in. Oh, we'll take care of it right away. Like the
Oh
service
wow.
was quick, and I highly
Right.
recommend. Like if you guys, I mean, I know you guys have a lot of Canaveral. You have MSC in Canaveral, Miami, Brooklyn too. If you look for the price point,
Oh
I
yeah.
I had to. I absolutely had to because the price point of Royal Caribbean compared to MSC, there's two difference. You
Yeah.
get your cheap Royal cruises, but when I saw the price of MSC, I was like, let's go. I'm gonna keep an
Yeah.
open mind. I'm a cruise
Yeah.
fan. Keep an open mind.
Oh, absolutely. That's how I am. Dimitri's been on MSC before, once before, but I'm still looking to try to do my first one. And like you said, even the cheap Royal Caribbean cruises lately are still, you can still do 2 to 3 MSC cruises for the price of a quote
Oh,
unquote
absolutely.
cheap Royal cruise these days. So, you definitely seem to get a bang for your buck out of MSC lately, and it's good to hear because like one of the biggest things I've heard is the service and the food. At least like over the last couple of years, I've heard that those are like the big pain points for
Gotten
them.
better.
But just this year, I've heard it's done a complete 360 or a complete 180, and it's been just complete night and day difference.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, it's and getting to Brady in the chat, he's like, this guy knows his pizza. I can foresee these things. I'm like, yeah, I know my pizza. I know my pizza. Hey, I was born in Brooklyn. I know how it is. But and also shout out to Eddie Lugo Studios. He's in the chat. What's going on, man? He's awesome. I join them live every morning.
Awesome.
But yeah, like getting back to the price point, like you could do
Hmm.
like 4 MSC cruises compared to one Norwegian cruise. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, even their week-long cruises on, World America of all things. I mean, we talked about it right before the podcast here, but, like my family's booked on Star of the Seas next year, when it first comes out, and we're genuinely looking to switch just because we can do the brand new World America. They're a groundbreaking ship, you know, multiple times for the price that we're doing Star of the Seas. And it's like, as great as the Icon class is, I mean, I'd much rather do 2 to 3 cruises than just one single cruise. Doesn't matter how good the ship is, the more I go, especially when it's comparing World America, I'm definitely not as good as an Icon class, I'm sure. I mean, there's really no comparison in the
Right.
industry, but at the same time, the I as much as I recommend an Icon class or, even Royal Caribbean, it's getting to the point where it's almost not worth the price anymore.
No, I know. And the thing is, like I told you, my daughter loves cruising, and I showed her the Icon because I told
Hmm.
her we were going to go on Star. She want it's a playground for her. She will
Hmm. Oh,
absolutely.
it's
But like you
awesome.
said, they price the families out. I priced it. It
Right.
was like, and now I have to go in the summer. It was like 10 grand, and I'm
Hmm.
like, I was like, I could go
Yeah.
on 3 cruises for that,
Right.
that amount of money.
Exactly. Yeah. I think my splitting it with it's my parents are next door, then it's me and my sister, but like my room alone is 5,000, so I mean 2,500 between the two of us, or each of us. But it's like 800 to do the World America that same week. Actually, even less that same week. We were looking to
Right.
do Thanksgiving on a World America instead. Yeah, it's and it's not just the World America and compared to Icon with those prices. I mean, now you've got Utopia of the Seas. Utopia of the Seas is $700-800 for 3 nights, whereas I'm actively looking to go on the seashore right now, probably early next year, and it's 250, almost $300 compared to $700, to go on
Right.
Utopia.
I told my wife, I said, if we ever lived in Florida, I'd be on a cruise every weekend.
Oh yeah, dude,
Absolutely.
it's
I'd be,
dangerous. My bank account does not like it.
yeah. I had whatchamacallit? On I was in Nassau when I had Utopia next to me,
Hmm.
and my wife goes to me, she goes, "That's a gorgeous ship." I said, "Oh, it's an
Hmm.
absolute gorgeous ship." I said, "Go look at the price." She's like,
Nope.
"Geez, you priced it out," and she's like, "The amount of money we're going to spend on Utopia
Yeah.
is a week for us here on MSC." I'm like, "You
Right.
never tell me that." I said, "It was
A
crazy."
week. A week on MSC. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's insane.
And remember, there's 4 of us. Even though they do the kids free, you
Right.
still got to pay the port fees. So there's another $500 or $600 right there. So
Right.
6 and 8, it's $2,000 plus.
It's
Mind you,
brutal.
I got to fly. I got to get a
Right.
hotel the night before. So yeah,
Right.
MS, like I said, they have put let me tell you, they've put their hand in the American market, and they're winning right now. They are winning. They're trying to compete with Royal, and don't get me wrong, like you said, they have all that money from the containers and the shipping and everything. They have the money to just say, hey, let's put a World America in New York. Let's put one in Florida. Let's put one in Texas. Let's put one in California. They could do that because they rely on other things.
I know Calandra want a world-class ship. I've heard that they've asked MSC directly, like, hey, can you put a world-class ship here? I just don't think they have enough ships, or not coming out quick enough, really, for what MSC's got in mind. But yeah, I mean, they can put these ships wherever, and it's not like, when with these cheap prices, it's on average that you get what you pay for, but you're getting so much more than what you're actually paying for with MSC lately. I mean, like you said, they've got the money from all their shipping stuff. Like with, sometimes you find these budget cruises and it's like, okay, yeah, but like, the food sucks or the ship's old, stuff like that. No, you're getting beautiful, beautiful ships, new ships too, for a bargain.
And the thing is, like, back to like with MSC, is they have the capacity to say, hey, well, the Davina's old or the Magnifica's old. You know what? Let's get rid of it and go put a seashore, a seascape there, and let's go build a new ship. They have that capacity to do that. Other cruise lines are like Norwegian. I think they spent, what was it, like $100 million or whatever to redo the Spirit so they could throw it in like the Asian market or whatever it is.
Right.
You could just turn around and be like, hey, let's build a new ship. Okay, let's go put it here. And they could do that. Like, even though the Meraviglia is here, I'm sure they're having success here. I wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of years, they'll turn around and be like, well, one World America ships fit underneath the Verrazano Bridge. Can we do it like that? Because don't get me wrong, like, the way ships come here, they have to lower their stacks to go underneath the bridge. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. Or they take like a brand new Seascape or a brand new Seashore, that class ship, and throw it here in New York and just put it in Brooklyn and run 2 ships like Royal does out of Bayonne, because Royal runs Royal, Celebrity, and TUI. They run out of Cape Liberty.
Right.
And the city is Carnival, Norwegian, and the occasional Serenity or Regent Seven Seas, they run it out of New York. MSC, the only people that are in Brooklyn is Princess, them, and whatchamacallit, and the Queen Mary are the only ones that are in Brooklyn. Yeah.
That's cool.
And the Queen Mary does the transatlantic. So you could throw another ship there and, hey, do those 5 days to Bermuda or do a 10 or 7 to 10 days, because like with the Prima, when it came out, the Prima, they bounced it everywhere. Now they're like, the Breakaway came back to New York, the Prima, because now they're building new ships. What is it going to take for MSC to say, hey, let's go through a new ship in New York? That'll be awesome, because if it's cheap, I'm going to go on it.
Right. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, and it's funny. It's like, it's hard to believe that Meraviglia is like, not an old ship, but it's an older ship compared to what they've been putting out lately.
How, that's so crazy to me.
It's crazy to think that, that ship is 6 years old now, but like, it's a very nice ship. You definitely couldn't tell
Very nice.
that it's a 6-year-old ship.
And it's also the way it's kept up. Remember, they're all white, and like I haven't seen one, like there's some ships that come up here in the harbor, and there's rust stains all over them. Like there's some Royal ship, like Anthem one is here. Meraviglia, I did not see that. Like just the upkeep of everything was, everywhere you walked around the ship, it felt like a new ship. I mean, it was a new ship for me, but it just felt clean and service and everything was provided.
Yeah. That's good.
And the real question is, did it smell like an MSC ship, that special perfume?
No.
Is that a thing?
No.
No, you didn't smell that?
The only time it smelled like perfume was when we went to the shops. That was the only time. Although it smelled a lot like chocolate the entire time in the atrium, because they have the chocolate store there.
I love that.
And they made the chocolate fresh in front of you. And it took me all of my will not to buy a chocolate chip bottle in every flavor.
I was just about to ask if that's still a thing, is the chocolate chip models.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, my wife, She got a caramel latte. Loved it. I actually still have it. She picked up a pecan milk chocolate bar. She's like, it's probably the best I've ever had. And then I went to the John Felipe ice cream spot, and on the ship I got Nutella ice cream with a chocolate waffle cone. Best ice cream I've ever had on a cruise ship.
I agree, from the Vinci. So.
Yeah, but like, it was great. Like, I have to say, like I said, the only time I smelled the perfume was when I went towards the store. Other than that, you get certain smells on a cruise ship, like, you know, sweat. You could smell the outside. Dude, I didn't smell none of that. Everything smelled clean. And I'm like,
that's good.
You know, like, I went on the Joy, and the first time I went on the Joy, I was like, it was the same thing. I went on the Joy recently because since all the cutbacks, there was some things that weren't perfect. But like, I was like, now I go on MSC and I don't see the cutbacks. Did I get an animal towel in my room every night? No, but that's not a huge deal. But my room was clean twice. And even when my room wasn't clean twice, I walked outside. My attendant was there. I gave him like the dirty diapers. We exchanged towels. Anything I needed, he either knocked or he just gave to me. And very awesome. I gave him a great tip. But that's the cuts. Like, that's where MSC is going to start excelling. If they don't do any more budget cuts where the other cruise lines are, hey, you know what? I want my room cleaned twice a day, or I want the ship to smell fresh. I went on this MSC cruise. I kind of want to go on it again. That's exactly what's going to happen. So,
yeah, you see, like, it seems like an industry standard, not a standard, but, you know, like an industry norm now is everybody's cutting back on perks and, you know, just different things overall, like, you know, the making up the room twice a day. That was a normal thing for God knows how long. Like, but MSC is just adding more and more, like, you know, to what they offer and, you know, to their services and things like that. So, you know, it's like the things that all the other cruise lines are cutting back on, MSC is putting more emphasis on, which is really good to see. That's going to pay off for them in the long run too.
Oh yeah,
you know,
like,
I think
they have the money to spend. They do.
Right. Like, it's almost like, you know, right now Royal Caribbean's running the show. I think they've kind of gotten themselves so far ahead that they don't really care about the competition anymore. But MSC is, you know, I don't think they've caught quite up to like Carnival and Norwegian, although it's starting to get very close. You know, once I think these next couple world-class ships are out, I think they're going to start taking the number 2 or 3 spot. But like Royal's going to have to like kind of watch their back though, because when, you know, this next generation ship, you know, it's rumored that they're making something bigger than Icon, you know, whether it is or it's the same size or what it is, you know, Royal's not overly concerned because they're like, oh, the Icon is, you know, the peak of vacations. Yes. But when the competition's getting ready to, you know, put out something similar, at least in size, you know, there's so much opportunity for them to do, because MSC, I feel like it was the running joke at one point that, you know, they were kind of copying Royal Caribbean's notes, but it seems to be working.
Right.
So.
And I have to agree, like, also, like, Royal has all these older ships. MSC's they started building, people like, oh, they're crazy for building all these new ships. They're not crazy because they're making money. And
they're popping them out like Tic Tacs.
That's what I'm saying. And they have spots to, like, Royal's going to have to be like, all right, well, this ship is this old. I think it's time for it to go. Let's replace that with a Freedom class ship or a new Discovery ship. So that's another thing too, is you got to also remember, they're getting the cruising is getting very congested. Like, with so many ships, Cozumel always has 6. Nassau's always got, everything is getting bunched up. You're going to have to start putting out new destinations. And the bigger you get, the less destinations you're going to be able to go. Like, MSC might sit back and be like, well, you know what? Let's build a couple smaller ships. And let's go throw them in the Philippines, or let's go throw them on the other side of the world where we could go. And another thing, too, is what I noticed also on MSC was the diversity. Like, there was a lot of Italian, a lot of different, like, just ethnicities. But I felt like they traveled to New York to just go on the Meraviglia so they could go to the Bahamas. And they catered to all that. Like, there was never an issue. There was never an issue of, like, the language barrier. Everybody, I felt like everything ran smoothly. The shows they would get out, they would all funnel into the H. It was just, it was very. I was very, very surprised. And by like the fourth night, I was like, okay, you know what? If this cruise is cheap again next year, maybe I'd do it. Or maybe if I can, or maybe if I find a cheap airfare, I'll fly down to Miami. I'll fly down to Calandra and go on an MSC ship, because the balance of, hey, I paid $4,000 and then I still got to fly to Miami. Hey, I paid $2,000 and still got to fly. But you know what? That extra $2,000 basically cancels it out. I'll just go.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
it's a lot. Like I said, I think if they make a big splash with World America, which I think they will,
Oh yeah.
well, people are going to be like, yeah, I'm not paying $6,000 to go on Icon. I think I'm going to go on MS and enjoy. And I think by them building Ocean Cay is a big thing. And like I think they are building it up a lot more, but it's gorgeous, man. They dock on a tender.
Yeah. What did you think of Ocean Cay?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's a lot. It's different between CocoCay and Ocean Cay, and then you got Great Stirrup Cay. Ocean Cay is a lot more relaxation, which I liked. And good thing my kids were into the beach, because that lagoon that was in the back, it was waist deep all the way out.
Super shallow and no waves.
Yeah, it was shallow and there was no waves. And like I said, the food, everything, the accessibility around the island was perfect. Like I said, they had the big golf carts running around. Very like if you had a carriage or wheelchair, they catered to you. If all they have one dock there. I wouldn't be surprised if in the near future they add a second dock, like just do it or somehow, because you put it. They're gonna be like, you know what? And it never felt crowded. There was
never felt crowded for me either.
Yeah, it was completely empty. But like, don't get me wrong. In the next couple of years, they see Royal throwing 2 ships at CocoCay, and I know Norwegian's building their dock, which I've been waiting for that for the last whatever year. But because I've missed Great Stirrup Cay the last 3 times I've gone.
Jesus.
I think they will turn around, because like I said, they got the capital. They'll add another dock so they can put 2 world-class ships. And don't get me wrong, mark my words now, in about 5 years, they'll have 2 world-class ships sitting at Ocean Cay with double dock.
Yep.
You know
that terminal that they're building in Miami is built for 2 world-class ships.
Correct.
It can hold 2 of them at the same time, which is very impressive in itself. But that shows, you know, they've got a plan in mind.
Right. So I wouldn't be surprised if they had that other dock, because Ocean Cay is beautiful, and you know, every island. I don't think Great Stirrup Cay has it, but like Harvest Cay they have the pool, the biggest pool on an island. Don't get me wrong, if Ocean Cay could build out, which I see, if you go there, and I think Dimitri, you probably saw it, they have a whole sand island with an excavator on it, that they could take that sand and put it anywhere. It's an island of just white sand with 1 excavator on it. It's insane. It's so much. Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised, like, hey, you know what? They got a pool. Let's build a pool. Let's put it on the other side of the island.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, they are up and coming.
Yeah. And, you know, I think, you know, it's almost, you know, maybe don't want to jump the gun a little bit, but I do think it's almost a lock that, you know, World America is going to be a smash hit, and especially in Miami, but let alone the U.S. in general. I mean,
right. Because I know it's a smash overseas already. It's in Europe. It's a smash. So
the fact that people are eagerly like anticipating, you know, an MSC ship, which is the first time probably since the Seaside, just because the Seaside was just so different and weird, and it was like, who is this cruise line? Now we know who this cruise line is. Now they're putting out something that's really going to compete. And I think, you know, putting 2 here is going to be absolutely, you know, insane.
Right.
But, you know, the fact that we're going to put 1 here, I mean, the amount of hype and anticipation around, you know, with just like with content creators, for one, I mean, there's a ton of them that are going to go on the inaugural.
Right.
But, like, you know, there's so many people that are looking forward to that ship, and it's going to be, yeah, I mean, Royal does need to kind of watch their back, because if this actually lands, it's going to be game over. Well, not game over, but they're going to have a serious competitor.
Right. And then you see, like, the way the docks are in Miami. It's Royal, and then MSC is going to be like, you know what? You put 1 enormous icon, we're going to put 2 World Americas right next to you.
That's like a terminal is hilarious because of how big it is.
Yeah.
Right. it's absolutely a power move too. Yeah, because I mean it's so big, but that the parking garage is so big too. It backs all the way up. The bow of Icon actually goes past like over the parking deck of that terminal. Like, I mean that's how much they're like encroaching on Royal Caribbean's
Yeah.
space. It goes up to the glass basically of Terminal A.
And if you
And they're
watch,
pretty much like, "Yep, we're here."
yep, and they just was it on the I watched the live stream on on Miami, and
Hmm.
they just removed all the barriers like a couple weeks
Oh,
ago.
they
So
did?
now
Oh, really?
it's like
Cool.
it's all all those dredging barriers are all gone now. So now they're like, you know what? Hey, let's we have what, a year, not even a year. Let's
Hmm.
get it moving. So
Yeah.
and then they just did a drone video of, if I don't know if you saw it, the FPV of them flying through the new gantries and all that they're gonna have there,
Oh,
dude.
really?
It's gonna be insane. It's good.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a huge power move. Like, hey, Roy,
Oh,
you
yeah.
got your. You know what? We're gonna put 2 world class ships here. And be like,
Yeah.
now you need 2 icons to be here, and then Royal's gonna be
Right.
like, what do we do next?
Right.
It's like this. So
Yeah. And I mean, it's not like Carnival is right on their heels either. I mean, they've got a 200,000 ton ship. Royal Caribbean is kind of gotten a little bit of an inflated head, and I feel like we're probably bashing Royal Caribbean a little bit too much here, but it really is. I mean, they've got a lot of competition now, and whether
yeah,
they don't really, it may not be a thing right now, but in the next couple of years, it's gonna be a big deal for them.
Could be an issue, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, but jumping back towards Meraviglia, I did want to ask. So, what was your itinerary that you did on this? Because I know we've
It
mentioned,
was
Canaveral and Ocean Cay.
so it was first day, obviously sea day from up here. Then the second day of Tuesday, we got to Canaveral at 1.
Okay.
And we stayed till 10. Then the second day was Nassau, which we got to Nassau late, which was weird to me because it was from 1 to 10 to 8 or 1 to 9. And I'm like, why didn't we get there earlier? Because when we got there, there was a slip for us. We parked next to Allure and Utopia.
Okay.
And I'm like, why did we get there later? So I was like,
Mhm.
okay, whatever. That was not a big deal. And then we went to Ocean Cay, and we were there at 8 a.m. And
Okay.
that was the itinerary. That's the usual itinerary from up here.
Right.
My wife don't like it, but we tried MSC.
Right.
So, but the thing was, what was the key to all of this? Me having fun and my kids having fun.
Mhm.
Meraviglia has an indoor pool. Do you know how much
Oh.
of a win that was for me? Because the 2 days that we were heading down and it was cold, we were in the indoor pool. On the 2 days heading back up,
Yeah.
where were we? The indoor pool. And the outdoor
yeah.
pool was phenomenal too. So
Mhm.
the itinerary, I've done it many times from up here
Right.
because there's either the Bermuda itinerary, and right now you can't really go to Bermuda because it's cold.
Right.
And the other, only other itineraries that they do is Southern Caribbean, but I couldn't take 2 weeks off from work.
Yeah, those
So,
are very long.
Mhm.
yeah, I've done a 9-day from here on Norwegian. But
Okay.
the itinerary is they're running it. They're going to be running it all winter. They run
Mhm.
Canaveral, Nassau, Ocean Cay, and back. So it's 3 ports, 4 sea day, 3.5 sea days, and 3 ports. That's how it goes. So
Right.
but yeah, everything went like I said. The captain was great, weather
Mhm.
was great, and I have to admit I am very, very impressed. I am.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. So for Canaveral, because I've always like genuinely wondered this, being, I've always seen Canaveral as a home port,
Right.
So and I know you didn't really do anything in Canaveral in particular, as far as excursions, but like, do you know like what they offered as far as excursions?
They do NASA. They do the tour. They do NASA.
Okay.
They do they could get you transportation to Disney, transportation to Universal,
Okay.
Cocoa Beach.
I'm gonna say Cocoa Beach.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
few of the wetlands like things around to do. I
Okay.
think even one was like a shopping center, whatever it
Okay.
is. But yeah, that's pretty much one. I would have loved to have done Disney,
Yeah.
but because we got there at 1 o'clock, it was not worth it. When
It's
I
like
went
1 hour each way. Yeah.
yeah, when I went there on the getaway, it was an 8-day on the getaway. We arrived at like 7 a.m. So I had a private car waiting for me, and I
Mhm.
did the Disney. I drove back and forth. It was an
Yeah.
hour, but that's the only thing that I really like I questioned with NASA. What
Mhm.
NASA was the 1 o'clock arrivals, because
That
everybody
is
else
weird.
there, you know,
It's not.
and
It doesn't take very long to get to Nassau from.
no, and I had an excursion booked. I had they do the resort for a day,
Mhm.
and we booked it early, like when we first booked the cruise. And then when we found out we were going there at 1 o'clock, I'm like, do we even get off the ship? You know, like at that point, because it was the hotel, the Colonial, which was right there.
Mhm.
Luckily, very nice people at the Colonial, which I'll give a huge shout out. You guys should go book there. They gave me my money back, which because I
Oh
told
wow.
them, I said we arrived late. We were supposed to be there. It was like a 9 to 3. Like you have access to all their amenities, the beach, the
Mhm.
pool. Why was I going to get off the ship at 1:30, and then have to get back on by dinner time? Because
Right.
I'm not going to eat dinner there. And we also found out that you could only stay to the hotel till like 5.
Mhm.
So I was like, you know what? I sent an email from the ship, and they actually were really nice. They said, we'll give you the one-time courtesy. We do understand that, whatever. So I'll shout out the Colonial Hotel. You guys should go book them. Resort for a day. Awesome. But that just it boggled my mind a little bit. That was just a 1 o'clock arrival in Nassau and in Canaveral, because I know everybody else gets there early. But
Mhm.
other than that, that's the itinerary you get from New York. You get that
Right.
7 day down and back up. In the
Right.
summer, it's fantastic because you can hang out at the bars, the decks. But we
Mhm.
left; it was 40 degrees, and by the time we got down to
Right.
Canaveral, you guys know it was chilly a little bit.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
it
This
was.
past
I was
like week or two, yeah, it was in the 30s this morning here in Florida. I woke up this morning. I was like, nope, I'm working from home today. It's a snow day. It's a snow day. It's below 40 here in
like
Florida. That's just not gonna work.
stay inside.
Stay
that's like
inside.
Dimitri. I was just telling him. I was like before. It's like 20 something up here. We're expecting some snow
Yep.
tonight. I'm like,
That's
I was
crazy.
an idiot. I
Yeah.
was like, and then funny is like last week at this time, we
Mhm.
were just leaving um, Nassau to get
Mhm.
to Ocean Can. I'm like, yeah, I was in 80-degree weather, and now I'm in 20.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's not happening.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Canaveral, because I was I joined one of your TikTok lives for it. Was there a rocket launch when you left Canaveral?
Yes. So
That's
this
awesome.
happened.
That's one of the
That
coolest parts
That is
about
so awesome.
Canaveral.
You're so
this
lucky.
this this is the second time I've caught a rocket launch. I caught it on Freedom when I was in May.
Oh, that's
Also,
cool.
shout out to Mr. Jerry Pike because he kept me updated the entire
Jerry.
time. Um,
Alright.
so it was supposed to take off at 10. I'm guessing you guys knew that got delayed to like a quarter to 11, quarter to
Right.
12. I'm sitting on my balcony, and you could see, you guys know, the flasher of the site, and
Mm-hmm.
it disappeared. So I'm watching it on NASA Space Flight. It takes off, so the whole back like
Mm-hmm.
lights up. So I see the rocket go over. I see the booster come down, and about 10 seconds later, dude, we got
Big
hit with the
boom.
sonic boom. It scared the living shit out of me because I'm sitting on my balcony, it's the middle of nowhere, and it like rattled off the ship. And the funny
Oh
part about
yeah.
it, I'm always on deck 10, so like
Uh-huh.
everybody was above and all you hear is, "What the fuck was that? Holy shit!" Like it was great, and I wish I would have caught it on video, but that was the second time I saw a SpaceX launch. The first time was
That's
Freedom,
funny.
and I was off the coast of Miami when I saw it, and I saw it right at me, and I was on the top deck of Freedom. But dude, seeing that does not get old. Like, and Jerry
Oh
told me
yeah.
it was launching. I was like, that is awesome.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. And now that they launch, SpaceX launches literally like 3 times a week from Canaveral, maybe 4 times. I'm like, there
Yeah.
was definitely a chance that I was going to catch one. I couldn't wait.
Yeah.
So
It's every now and then if like I know there's a rocket launch, even if it's later in the day, like I have to get to the port early because that park that I go to fills up so quickly.
oh, I bet.
But it's always cool. I remember the first time I saw it was the Epic, and the Epic was there that day, and it was a rocket launch, so I went out a little early. And yeah, the boom definitely caught me off guard. That
Yeah,
was
it caught, dude. And the crazy is you're in the middle of no, you're in the middle of the ocean,
oh
and
yeah,
it's like it just comes out of nowhere, and it's, dude, it scared and people. The funny part about it
yeah,
was it scared me, but I know there were people on the balconies above me,
oh yeah,
and you see them like, what the hell? What was like? It was hysterical. I wish I had a video of it, but
that's
because
awesome.
everybody knew it, yeah, it was great. It was fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and then I guess jumping on to another thing. What was like the best part about the ship? I think we kind of like, gone over a lot of different things. So, like, was there anything that like stood out in particular that was like the best part about the ship?
What stood out was the energy.
The
Like I
energy?
felt like the energy of the ship was always positive. Like as
Okay.
much as it was crowded in some spots, you had a great cruise director. I
Hmm.
forget his name, but there was you never felt I never felt crowded. And the best part about it was roaming around the ship. You know, like the elevator is always packed.
Hmm.
Never felt that. It
Really?
was just like I said. The best part about the ship was being comfortable. I was very, very comfortable because I'm used to Norwegian. I'm used to Royal,
Hmm.
especially Norwegian. Like you used to go and you know the ship inside and out. Like I knew the breakaway class. I know them inside and out.
Right.
I felt like I knew the ship. Like everything was just laid out in the right spot in the right, the community way of going in and
Right.
out of places. And yeah, I have to say, like the best part was just like besides the food was phenomenal. I mean, I'm talking buffet food. I didn't hit the main dining room. I have
Okay.
I have
Yeah.
kids, whatever it is, but you got high class food every night. Like even though my kids went to sleep early, I always went up later when they went to bed, and I brought food
Hmm.
back to the balcony, which me and my
Hmm.
wife love to do. Even before kids, we used to love to do that anyway.
Yeah.
Also, tip: if you have a stroller, bring it with you to the buffet because you can stack plates in it and bring it back.
I'm gonna get a stroller just for that.
I was gonna say I
Because when
want
you
to buy
walk in
one
and
for
out of the
that.
elevators, they go, "Where's the baby?" I go, "The baby's sleeping." I go, "The baby is the food in the stroller."
Yeah.
But
The plate
other than
or
that,
the baby is this plate of chicken nuggets that are down there.
dude, it was great. And then yeah, like I said, just being comfortable. That was my favorite part. Just it
Yeah.
was like walking around the ship, being comfortable, everybody being so friendly. Because you
Yeah.
get certain crew guests are like, they're stressed out. I did not have that on this ship at all. And the service was, I know people bash MSC for service.
Hmm.
It was fantastic. It was
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic. They were,
Yeah.
people were so nice. It blew me away. Like I said, and
Yeah.
just the comfort part was my favorite part.
Yeah, service has been like the biggest thing I've heard from MSC, and food was service and food were like kind of up there. It was always, people would, at least in the last couple of years, when MSC first started kind of appearing here in the U.S., it was always all right. The service wasn't very good, or the food wasn't very good, but especially like this year in particular, I've heard that's taken a complete 180. Like you've been saying, it's like everything I've heard about MSC's service and food lately has been just nothing but amazing. So
Yeah,
it sounds like I mean they are one of the few cruise lines that really do seem to listen to customer feedback,
yeah, and I
and it
agree.
really shows.
I agree, yeah. Like I said, I feel like when they first got here, they were dipping their feet into it and they didn't know what they were doing because they were used to
Yeah,
Europe. And then I
right.
guess they take that feedback like every other cruise line does. They take that feedback and they really
Hmm.
took it to consideration and
Hmm.
said, hey, we need to change this. We need to change that. We need to
Hmm.
change this. And like you said, since they have the capita, they could invest that. Hey, let's go
Hmm.
hire this chef. Let's go invest in a better
Hmm.
quality of meat. Let's go invest in a better quality of fish, and
Hmm.
let's get that service up. And
Right,
remember, I've never heard them doing any service cuts like every other cruise
right,
line.
exactly.
So they're winning because if the other cruise lines, I mean, I know we bash Royal, but Norwegian, Royal, Carnival, if they
Hmm.
see people going on MSC because of the service, they're
They're gonna
gonna
have to
have to
step it
do a
up.
whole, they're gonna have to do a whole 180. Be like, maybe we'll clean people's rooms again twice a day, or maybe we'll clean
Right.
this. Like I don't know
I
if
don't
you
know
guys are
why
familiar.
they did that. The
It's
cleaning the
Which is
because
room
always
once
the
a day.
weirdest thing to me. I
No,
mean, I've
there's no
been
need for that.
yeah, I've been cruising since I was like a foot off the ground. I mean, I was like 2 years old when I took my first cruise, and like ever since then, I really saw the big change like with that, since COVID. But even before that,
Okay.
like maybe 2015, 2016, it was a lot of all right, yeah, we're just gonna switch to one once a day, and everybody's like, why? Like, it's kind of nice to, is it overkill? Maybe a little bit, but it's nice to have a fresh set of towels. I mean, I usually shower
right.
at least two, sometimes three times a day because it's so hot in the Caribbean.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's
Exactly.
nice having those fresh towels. I mean, like Oasis, I was using the same towel like 2 to 3 times, yeah, just because I was waiting for the room lady, and like even, you know, it wasn't a huge deal because she still came the once a day, but she never came until like 3 in the afternoon on Oasis a couple weeks ago. So where it was like, yeah, like I took my shower at the end of the day, and then the next morning, I'm having to reuse dirty towels and stuff like that, which is kind kind of defeating the purpose of getting cleaned up.
Right.
You
And the
know.
thing was, like, I have kids, so like, there's 4 of us, and I have to have a clean towel. Like, my wife has to do her hair, my daughter's got to do her hair, you know. So like,
Right.
I need those extra things. And the one thing, like, even though I felt bad bothering him every night, but even when I didn't bother him every night, he knew when I went to dinner every night, and within that 45 minutes I was gone, he cleaned the room, got the towels, and I'm like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
This was, I mean, you know, I didn't get towel animals, but that's not a big deal for me. Clean my room because I have messy kids. They're playing with sand. They're playing with Play-Doh. He cleaned that all up.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
it is what it is. But like, I feel like when I was on Norwegian, I don't know if you guys follow Ben and David. They went on the Epic when they were in Europe.
We do.
I don't know if you saw the video of how
They just complained the whole time.
I've heard a lot of very bad things about the Epic, though.
Yeah. Well,
even Justin, who, I mean, you know, Justin's like me, you know, it's hard to disappoint. I'm on a cruise, like, I'm not going to complain regardless, but like, the fact that Justin came back from the Epic and had some pretty negative things to say about the ship, overall, had a great time, it seemed like. But like his review, you know, when we did that podcast like last year, it was, you know, he had a lot of, you know, things that were pretty big problems.
Yeah.
And, you know, and like, I mean, I
heard
personally
similar
wouldn't have liked
things
it
from
either.
family friends.
And the Epic is kind of the oddball of the fleet, and they kind of treat it like that now. It seems like it's no longer the, you know, the flagship. You know, once the Breakaway Plus ship started coming out, it was like, all right, we do not care about the Epic anymore.
Well, you never heard my story on the Epic.
Oh boy. So, okay, I do need to hear this.
Yeah. So 2018, 2019, me and my wife fly down to Canaveral, go on the Epic, embarkation, pretty terrible. Well, first of all, we left here and we ended up getting a late flight because it was all windy, whatever, no big deal. Get on the Epic. Second sea day, captain comes on and goes, hey, we lost one of our engines. We are going to miss St. Thomas, St. Martin, and we don't know if we're going to be able to get to Great Stirrup Cay. So we are going to Puerto Rico.
Wow.
Okay. Go to Puerto Rico. And I don't know if you guys are familiar, but remember when the Epic smashed into the dock of Puerto Rico?
Were you on that one?
You were on that.
That's who was on the ship. The funny part about it was...
Do you have a video of that?
Well, they have a video of it. The funny part about it was I was on the other side. I didn't know what was going on. I go to the comedy club that night because they let us stay on the ship. People's phones are blowing up. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I turn my phone on. I'm getting text messages from home. Are you okay? I'm like, what is that? I saw the video on YouTube. It was all over the news.
Yeah.
Wow.
They let us off the next day, and you see the gash. I have a picture of it. It's on my old phone. 2 gashes of you hear them, and I'm not joking you, on the other side banging with a hammer to try to whatever they're knocking out. So we go to Puerto Rico. We spent the whole day in Puerto Rico. We left that night. So they're like, okay, we might be able to make Great Stirrup Cay. Fine. It is what it is. We're getting there. My wife goes to me, yeah, we're going too slow. Captain comes on. We're not going to make Great Stirrup Cay. Okay. Wow. By the way, we're not going to pull into Canaveral till 12 p.m.
Oh, Jesus.
So guess who's trying to change his flight? Me. So we missed Great Stirrup Cay. Compensation for it, we got 100% cruise credit back. Got credit back on the ship. So I ended up actually later in the year in June. My wife was pregnant with my daughter. We ended up getting a free Bermuda cruise on the Escape, which is
nice.
Yeah,
that's worth it. I'll take getting a dock for a free cruise.
Yeah. So don't get me wrong. Even though we missed all the islands, I had a fantastic weather. Was great. Me and my wife enjoyed it. Before we enjoyed ourselves. So we pulled to Canaveral. I'm trying to change my flight. So I changed my flight. The one thing I didn't like was, so they had one phone, regular phone, on the ship. All the older people, they're not tech savvy. They're trying to make phone calls.
Right.
I was like, all right, we did it. So I get to the air. Long story short, I get off. This embarkation was a nightmare. Nightmare. Where I was actually caught in the staircase for like an hour getting off. So the whole trip was whatever. Long story short, I get to the airport. They didn't have a seat for me. They had one for my wife, but not for me. So I had to get. They go, oh well, we have extra legroom. I said, here's my card. Just take care of it. Right. Get home, and then to put the icing on the cake, Right before we land, a kid starts screaming. And mind you, it's like 11 o'clock at night, screaming as we land. And I'm like, this sums up the whole trip.
Yeah. That's
But
crazy.
that was my experience on the Epic. And everybody was like, you were on that ship. I'm like,
That's so funny.
yeah. And I had a suite on that ship. And honestly, it was, my wife doesn't agree, but it was one of my favorite rooms. We had a mini suite. Yeah. And I kind of like the bathroom separated from the shower. And
Yeah.
the way it's long. So we had a good time. But yeah, that's my story on the Epic.
That's funny. That's crazy to hear. I remember that. I remember seeing it. I'm like, oh my God, like the Epic just hit the dock.
Yeah.
That was like a big thing. Like we got me and Justin and, a couple other creators, like there's big, group chat and stuff like that. And all of us were going back and forth that day. Like, oh my gosh, like that happened. Kind of like the Escape that one time where it got stuck.
Yes, I saw that. Well, did you see that the big ships can't go to Puerto Rico because of the Meraviglia?
Really? Because wait, what happened to
Did you hear about that
Meraviglia
one?
there?
So the
No.
Meraviglia damaged the dock in Puerto Rico. I guess
wow.
on its last, I don't know, it was like a long cruise.
Mm-hmm.
They can't dock Icon or the Oasis class ships there because the Meraviglia hit the dock. So Puerto Rico has no luck with docks.
It's funny because I've always made the joke that MSC captains like to hit stuff. It's like there's so many videos of MSC ships, and this was already like before they kind of became the bigger brand that they are now. But like there's always like videos of their older ships like just smashing into piers and stuff like that. I don't see it. I don't see it nearly as much as I do like with or like with the bigger ships and the newer ships, but like the old ones like the Divina or. What was that one? Like I think it was right before COVID. It was like in Venice where it just almost took out one of those little river ferries.
Yeah, yes, it actually
plowed through it. Yeah, in Roatan. I was actually in Roatan a week after that happened on the getaway.
That's crazy. I'll give you another story on the breakaway. We hit a whale on the way into the harbor.
Oh wow!
So I'm on the breakaway. I was on my second time to breakaway. We heard something like early in the morning, and then we're in, and then all of a sudden the captain comes and goes, "Oh yeah, we hit something. We have to wait for the tugboats to come put us into the port in New York." My friend was on the Carnival. I was on Carnival before she came in. She has a video of my ship going backwards in the harbor.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, going backwards. So the tugboats had to put us in. Long story short, they found the whale washed up in Brooklyn. It's very common.
It's common
in the harbor because they swim too far up. I think the Meraviglia did it like a couple months ago, actually.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it's a very common thing, but I've had some experiences.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So,
that's a good thing to wake up to in the mornings. The captain coming over the intercom. Yeah, we hit something.
Yeah, that was always fun. Like, luckily we were in the harbor, not in the middle of the ocean.
Right.
Because he's like,
luckily. Whales don't do as much damage as a dock does, so thankfully. No. But that'll knock out an azipod, that's for sure.
Yeah, but cruising from up here is interesting. Like everybody's like, "Oh, I always want to go and leave the Verrazano Bridge," and I'm like, I've done it so many times. It's great. It's fantastic, especially when you're in an Oasis class ship. It's just so close to it that you look up and you hear the cars just going straight over it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's sailing from New York and sailing from Miami is two totally different animals.
Right.
Because in Miami, you can pretty much sail all year round. In New York, you really can't all year round because it gets freezing cold up here. But it's still the experience because also you get the Canadian cruises from up here. You could do the transatlantics from up here. And a lot of people like the transatlantics here because the Queen Mary does it all the time.
Every time that she's up there.
Yeah, she goes over to the Titanic site. They do all that, and they come back. Cool. And I'm kind of mad that the Viva was supposed to come here before she went to Puerto Rico. She was supposed to come here first and then go to Puerto Rico and then go. Also, the reason why I have a Scarlet Lady ship model right here is because it came in for a preview. It was a 3-day preview, and for $100 each, you could go eat in a steakhouse and get on the ship. But everything was included. So we got drinks, ice cream, and we just went on the ship. So I told my wife, it counts. We were on the ship for about 4 or 5 hours. And you were allowed to stay there. Like they also offered like hotel packages to stay
Oh
on the
wow,
ship. So like I previewed it, and it was pretty good. So like
that's
that's
really
another
cool.
ship. Yeah. So like the Aqua's coming here next year.
Yeah,
Uh, so and then the new, not the Queen Mary, Queen
Queen
Anne.
Anne. Yeah,
Supposed
yeah,
to come here, I think in March. I think so. I'm going to end up getting her, and then
that's
the
cool.
Epic makes her fantastic return in March 31st. Every time I'm here, I miss the Epic because it's either raining, and I'm like, it's got to be the ship. I said it's got to be the ship. It's a jinx. I said
Oh
the
yeah,
entire yeah. So I'm going to try to get the Epic when it's here. But I
yeah.
worked for Princess this past summer, um, getting the Enchanted Princess leaving out of here because
Oh cool.
they're trying to get their hand in it now over here.
Hmm.
And then I worked for MSC when the Meraviglia first came here. I worked for them, and yeah. So it's like I said, it's all about the weather and everything. Like right now, it's cold, and
Hmm.
right now you won't see a ship besides the Meraviglia and Odyssey here every week. I
Hmm.
think starting in a couple weeks after Christmas, Odyssey starts doing like, I could be wrong, like long trips, like 9 to 10 days,
I
and then
think
they come.
so.
Yeah, because also up here in the harbor, it hasn't happened in a couple years because it's been warm, but there's ice that forms in the harbor, and that's
Oh
another thing.
really?
Yeah, like if you go towards, not so much in Jersey and Brooklyn, but if you go more towards Manhattan,
Hmm.
also since I work for a tugboat company, we used to go up north. We don't do that anymore, but there's ice that forms, and the ice comes down from up north when
Ah
there's a
yeah.
storm them, and it goes into the harbor. So that's another reason why they like to go on long journeys because they miss that weather.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's very interesting living up here and cruising from up here compared to Miami.
Very.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then one last thing I wanted to ask is, so you've been to CocoCay. How it seems like they're polar opposites, but how does Ocean Cay compare to CocoCay? I know we kind of talked about it a little bit.
CocoCay and Ocean Cay, the similarities are accessibility, food, and beach.
Okay.
Now, there is no pool on Ocean Cay like there is on CocoCay.
Okay.
There are no water slides or like adventures
Right.
on Ocean Cay. It compares to where, if you like the chaos of
Hmm.
CocoCay and Royal Caribbean, I mean
Yeah.
that in a good way,
Right.
or compared to a very relaxed and more
Relax, very quiet,
yeah, a
very.
more intimate family. Like I go to the beach with my family on CocoCay. There's just everything. Oh, I want to go to the pool. I want to go here. I want to go to the slide.
Yeah.
Ocean Cay, it's here's the chairs, here's the umbrella, here's the beach, here's the water. What more can you ask for? It's a
Right.
very laid back and chill spot. And that's, but the comparabilities is they're warm, they're
Hmm.
beautiful, and it's what you want. Do you want the fun? Do
Yeah.
you want, because I know ever since they built that, uh, the adults only sent a place on CocoCay, everybody goes there.
Yeah. They're
I feel
charging
like,
$80 to go there now,
yeah, I
which
feel
is
like
unreal.
On Ocean Cay, you really don't need to do that because, like Dimitri says, you could go on another side of the island and be
Hmm.
by yourself and
Yep.
hang out, and also have waiter service
Hmm.
coming around because they do that. They did that too. Even though we were with my family and other families, they still had waiter service coming around offering drinks and everything.
Oh wow.
So the difference, there really is, I guess, the similarities: beach and water, beautiful,
Hmm.
but the differences is fun, relaxation, and quietness, and that's the simple as. And like I
Yeah.
said, there are some people that they go on like the Icon or they go on a small ship, like, oh, I want to have a good time. They're adults; they don't want to have kids around. They go
Hmm.
to CocoCay, and even to get to the adults only section, you got to pass through the chaos to
Right.
get there.
Exactly.
Ocean Cay, it's like, all right, where do you want to go? We go this side of the island. We go this side of the island. Maybe 10
Yeah.
people there. So that's, like I said, I really liked Ocean Cay. I really, really did.
Yeah.
Like I said, don't get me wrong, my kids loved CocoCay. Like my daughter's
Oh
asking
yeah.
to go to CocoCay, but she had fun. My 13
Yeah.
month old son sat at the edge of the beach.
Hmm.
My daughter had fun playing it, and it's nice. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah,
So
I've been really wanting to do Ocean K and MSC almost specifically just to kind of see that. But yeah, like kind of like you said, I mean, there's Ocean or Coco K really is chaos, but like in a good way,
right,
because
right.
it's a huge party. It's a giant water park. You know, there's a huge party atmosphere at the main pool. You know, you got the adults only area where it's, you know, also just crazy there. You know, or there's also, you know, the little secluded lagoon that they have there. And you know, there's so many things to do in CocoCay, but you know, in the best way possible, it is chaos. You know,
Right.
going there, no matter where you go.
And you see it on the ships because
Hmm.
it's the atmosphere of the type of people that are on the ships.
Hmm.
Like, don't get me wrong, the Meraviglia, it was Thanksgiving week. There were a lot of kids,
Hmm.
but I noticed there wasn't like you leave Miami, it's rowdy. You leave New York, it's cold. You got to figure
Hmm.
out stuff. It's different. It's a different, like I
Right.
said, and like I said, I noticed like when you go on Icon. I mean, people travel from all over the world, but when you go
Hmm.
leave on a ship up here, people will fly over here just to go to the Caribbean because
Right.
it's probably cheaper to fly here than it is to Miami or whatever it is, but it's a different sense of people. And I noticed that, especially on MSC. MSC, it's like they took the European side of it, but they're still bringing it over. Like they're
Right.
still bringing it over to here, where you go
Right.
Royal Caribbean, even though you have World Travelers, you have mostly people from the United States, from Florida, from Port
Right.
Canaveral. You have the seasoned vets of cruising. But when you have people
Mhm.
from up here in New York, especially Meraviglia, it's kind of new still. It's
Right.
only a year and a half old. It's a
Right.
different atmosphere, and it's
Hmm.
run different. And when you go to Ocean Cay, that shows.
Right. Was there a heavy European, like, you know, feel or like presence, or just a kind of like, I guess, like the clientele? Because I know with the seaside class ships, those are very American focused. So I, you know, with everything else that MSC's built, it's kind of very Italian and European feeling.
Right.
Did you feel that at all on
A little
Meraviglia?
bit. A little bit.
Okay.
I'll tell you, it started with the officer, especially the captain. Captain was Italian, and you heard them speaking. But the atmosphere was European a little bit. I have to
Hmm.
say, just a little. But they brought that and like Americanized it, where
Okay.
you go to the glow parties, you go to the what was it, the glow party. There was a couple other parties, but like I'm sure over in Europe did they have white parties and glow parties? Yeah, but the music was more American. It was more, hey, let's get everybody moving and going. Like I said, the energy on the ship was fantastic. Cruise
Hmm.
directors were great. You see that transition from European to American, even though you're on a European built ship.
Hmm.
You know, like even though all the officers were Italian and British and French and all that,
Hmm.
you saw them adapting to everybody. You know, like
Okay.
have also they took a picture with, you know, you take a picture of the captain and everything.
Hmm.
They took a picture of the officers. They had a sign in front of everybody who took a picture, hashtag MSC Meraviglia. You know what that tells me? They're trying to get into the social part of
Social
America,
media.
getting it, hey, this is, I'm sure they didn't do that in Europe. I mean, maybe they did, but
Hmm.
it shows they're making the effort and it's paying off because the food, the service was fantastic. And I'm a Norwegian
Yeah.
guy. My first MSC cruise, I'll go again. I
Hmm.
will not hesitate to go. And their sales are so much better. It's like when we,
Unbelievable sales.
yeah, like when Norwegian goes, oh, we marked down buy one get one. Yeah, you hiked it up because you could because the bike they did the Royal. I
Yeah.
noticed like that. I went on MSC. I think I found next year on the Meraviglia Thanksgiving week, the same week,
Hmm.
$2,200 for a balcony,
Wow.
7 days.
Yeah, I
I
was
go
just
myself.
looking. You know, I'm currently trying to, you know, look into going on the seashore soon, and looking at interiors, but I also had an interior on Oasis. But comparing the two, you know, the 3 nights on seashore, which is an incredible ship. Yeah, Oasis is Oasis. You know, those kind of have a different presence in the industry, but you know, even then, you know, comparing the two, like for the price, I was pricing out a cruise on seashore. It was actually cheaper than what I paid for Oasis, but that include free Wi-Fi and the
Yeah,
drink
great.
package.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And the
You
crazy
know.
part about it was like all their prices too. When you go online,
Hmm.
if you do book it, book everything early. Like I got my
Hmm.
wife a massage.
Hmm.
I paid, I think it was 140 for like an 80-minute massage.
Hmm.
She got on the ship because you know they do the specials. If you book this, you get an extra whatever. It was like 250. So
Yeah.
book everything early, and then like the internet. I didn't pay for the internet. I'm not going to get
Hmm.
into that, but because I was kind of working a little bit. But other than that, like I bought a birthday cake for my daughter, and like just everything, like the sense of prices. Also, when you go to the store, like when everything is just like hiked up in the stores, I have to say the prices in the stores were not bad. Like the ship model was $65. Also,
That's
also,
pretty. I guess that's about average, but
right.
like Royal Caribbean, like when we went on Oasis just a few weeks ago, it was $80, which it's the same ship model that I bought back in 2015
Right.
for $30.
Right.
It's crazy.
And then like the little tchotchkes and the little like keychains. I bought a lot of stuff on MSC. It was cheap. It was like $10, $15, $17. And also, do you know about their matching program?
The status matching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did it because I was platinum on Norwegian. I was automatically gold on MSC.
Okay.
I got 10% off of everything in the store.
Awesome.
And then like when you went to go put your stuff, like you also get your status of like restaurants. I mean, I didn't use it, but you matched, dude. That was perfect. Like I went to the store, I spent a lot, but you have that automatic gold right off the bat. That's
awesome.
Yeah. So if you do go on MSC and you're a high status in whatever cruise line you're at, they'll match it. And I started people started at the bottom. I started already at gold. I think it was like 300 or 400 points for this cruise. 2 more cruises and I'm diamond already, which is fantastic. Yeah.
That's
and then
awesome.
they just did the new blue diamond thing.
Okay.
They did. But yeah, they'll match you. If you have a loyalty status high in Norwegian or Royal, they'll match you.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I was looking into that because I think there was like because I'm Emerald on Royal, Platinum with Carnival, which I don't really know which kind of equates to one. I think my Platinum status is a little bit higher with Carnival.
Yeah.
But just knock 5% off your cruise fare, with that status matching, they knock 5% off the cruise fare.
That was another thing.
Awesome.
I went to gold, and when I called back, they gave me $103 back for my reservation. And they said, what do you want to do with it? They said it could either go back. I said, I'll put it on as a credit. So I got $100 credit on the ship to use. I don't know where the $3 is, but what it is. But that's the thing. Like when you book, you get that 5% right off the bat, which is fantastic. And that's MSC saying, come here, come to us. We will take care of you. Yeah, give us a shot. And it's great.
That's awesome. Yeah. MSC's really seems to be making a name for themselves. I love to see it too, because Royals getting a little bit too far ahead of everybody right now. I think people are going to start catching up to them soon. Carnival's got their projects. With that's the Oasis class size. Norwegian's got an Oasis class size ship coming. MSC's got these world class ships, and still those rumored even bigger ones than Icon. So I mean, Royal probably needs to kind of keep an eye on their backs a little bit when it comes to the competition. But if MSC continues to keep doing what they're doing, it's they're probably going to be one of the bigger cruise lines here in the U.S. alone, let alone worldwide.
That's the same thing with Norwegian. Like all their new Prima class ships, I can't go on them. They're not geared towards kids. They're going high end or whatever. I could only go on breakaway class ships. All my kids are on a breakaway class. Why? Because there's stuff for the kids to do, like a splash area. All the Prima class, they have these sprinklers that are like rectangle. What is my kid? And then the new Aqua class, the new Aqua has that roller coaster slide. Now my question is, how many times can the kid go on the slide? Because are you going to charge for it?
Yeah, it's Norwegian probably.
You're probably right, like they do with the Coke.
Right.
They charge. So am I going to pay $15 or whatever it is a pop every time my kid wants to go on the slide and have no splash zone? And also another thing too is they're also very high end now. Are they going to be allowed in the main pools? That's that's what you got to play. Like my son, he wasn't allowed in the indoor pool, but I put him in his swim diaper in the big pool in MSC, and they had no problem with it. Like I have to change the demographic of how I used to. If it was just me and my wife, absolutely I'd do the Prima class. But Norwegian, me and my wife have been talking about this. They got to start gearing it towards kids again and families. They're not. They're going the complete way. And now with Royal's like, hey, we're going to beat Norwegian out. But now MSC's like, hey, now we're going to beat you out. And now
Right.
it used to be Norwegian Royal, MSC, or Carnival. Now it's MSC Royal. No, it's all changing up because
Right.
give it and it's for the and
They're
I
shaking up
feel
the
like
entire industry with what they're doing.
correct. And what I feel like, and you're probably gonna think I'm nuts, but it's probably happening. I guarantee you people from MSC probably send people on the inside to all these ships. Go to
Oh,
Royal,
absolutely.
we can go and say, hey, what do they have? What do they have? What do they? And you know what? It's working. It's
Yeah.
absolutely
I wouldn't be surprised. I've seen early renders of the icon back like before, it became what it is. But there's definitely somebody that was on the icon's design team that worked on the World America's design. Because
yeah.
the early renders of icon look very, very similar to World America to an extent.
Yeah.
Not one for one, but there's definitely a lot of and the
Similarity.
split structure is definitely part of it too, with the Oasis class, but even like the squared off,
Yep.
with icon, there's a lot of it was a running joke for a while that they would MSC would take ideas from Royal Caribbean or all the other cruise lines, but I've been preaching this for as long as I can remember, even like when I was before I was doing social media, YouTube, Instagram, all of that, back when I was just like a kid cruising, I was like, if you took everything that's good about Royal Caribbean, what's good about the fun atmosphere of Carnival, you take the dining experience of Norwegian, because that's always been the biggest thing for me. Like with Norwegian, their food has always been top notch. The dining
Right.
experiences with the
Yes.
specialty restaurants and even just the main buffet, has always been top notch on Norwegian. You take everything that's good about each of these three cruise lines, and you're going to end up with a perfect cruise line.
Yeah.
But that's what MSC is doing right now. They're taking
Yeah.
the amazing ship that Royal Caribbean is known to build, or at least heavily inspired by Royal Caribbean's ships. Taking that, they're putting the fun, energetic atmosphere of a Carnival ship, and they're giving you the food quality atmosphere of Norwegian. They really are becoming that like perfect cruise line. Nobody's perfect, but they're taking everything that's good about all three of these guys and putting into one, and they're putting it on an affordable ship.
Right.
They're not pricing people out. You see these. I mean, these MSC ships are beautiful. These diamond crystal staircases.
Yeah.
Giant LED screens.
Yeah, they have
The insides are amazing.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
You would think with a ship that looks as luxurious as an MSC ship, you would absolutely think it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. But
Yeah.
these are some of the most affordable cruises right now here in the U.S.
And getting back to the whole social media part about it is, it's a lot easier. Like MSC has basically like even with me, Adam, shout out to Adam.
I love Adam.
He
Adam, if you're watching this, we love you.
Yeah. And also big shout out, because if it wasn't for Adam, he recommended, they go, well, we need somebody up in New York. And he recommended me.
Oh, really?
So,
that's cool.
Yeah. And the thing is, they're so easy to work with. Like I have my other friends, Royal, Norwegian, they're all hard to work. And if you notice, because we're all in the social media and TikTok world, MSC has catered to all the social media cruisers, cruising people, the cruising travel. When you go to Royal, they started with that. But if you notice, it's all the celebrities, it's all the TikTokers, it's all the Lively Duns, and all the super what's her name, the supercar model blonde, whatever it is.
Oh, supercar blondie. Yeah, I remember Adam did like a filming thing with her on the icon.
Right, and then like Mr. Beast, he was on what, Aurora Symphony, whatever the hell it was. They go into the celebrity, like they're not going towards the cruising social media people like us.
They're trying to take people that aren't cruisers and convert them to cruisers.
Correct,
which is a good idea.
Right.
But you're also, if you're trying to, like with MSC, their thing is they're trying to get already like people who are already cruisers, because people who they're so new, especially here in the US, they're trying to get people who are cruisers with everybody else. They're trying to take them in and bring them in.
Right. And from experience,
they are insane on how great they are with creators.
From experience, MSC I've worked with many times on MSC, and they've been fantastic. They take all my stuff, they share it, they tag you. Other cruise lines will take, and I will shout out Royal Caribbean, because Cruise Life Matt, if you're watching this, they took one of his videos of the icon and didn't give him any credit for it.
No way.
And he actually had this file a trademark thing, and they emailed him like, oh, we're so sorry that they've done that a couple times. But MSC, every time they've asked me to use any of my videos, they have messaged me and asked me. And I feel like they're gearing towards, and this is what's going to make the world America good again. Why? Shout out to the Crew Spotter. Shout out to Adam. Shout out to Nice Air. All of them, like we were talking, are all going to be on it. And what's going to happen? They have enormous followings.
Especially
they post
Sergio.
They post a couple videos, just like Adam did with Icon. It went viral. They're going to show that, and they're going to be like, you know what? This is going to reach Sergio's 1 million followers, Adam's 500,000 followers, Dalton's 100, Matt's on. It's going to reach. And then you know what's going to happen is Royal's going to try to up that with their celebrities, but they're going to be going to a completely different demographic, and then they're going to up their prices. You know why? Royal will be like, well, people are going to follow Mr. Beast because you know what? Let's hike up our prices. MSC won't do that. They'll be like, just come. We're showing you our shit. Just come. And that's a smart thing. It's a smart thing. I wish Norwegian would do that, but they kind of fell off a little bit too.
Yeah.
I mean, Carnival's got Shaq. He's a good guy. You know, it is.
Yeah. And like, I mean, with social media, you know, Royal Caribbean is, you know, they're filming all these, you know, with these really big, you know, celebrities and, you know, really big creators that are outside of, you know, cruising and all that, which is, you know, again, good to bring in people who aren't cruisers. Right. But like right now, social media is the best free advertising right now.
Yep.
You know, even with, you know, bringing in, then, you know, even I don't know, you know, if they're paying, you know, all these guys to go on the ships or not. I'm sure they're at least getting a little bit of cut if they're using their drone footage. That's for sure.
Right.
At minimum, a free cruise. I'm assuming, but you know,
I have to preach, but they have like the last cruise they offered me some things because for the footage, but there's other things like they've offered me for clips because, like I said, they want the people like me and Adam and Sergio. Besides filming with a drone, they all have their cameras and they film their balconies, their rooms, their everything like this. When you get a celebrity, where does a celebrity go in Royal Caribbean? The ultimate family suite or the ultimate this.
Right.
You know what's going to happen? A family's going to go press. Oh, let's see. We get
$30,000.
$30,000 a week. You know what's going to happen? Oh, we don't want to go. MSC's going to be like, hey guys, show them the atrium, show them the balcony, show them the ship, show them and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And they want to go and they're knocking up their prices. It's a completely different demographic.
Right. And even with the big creators, you know, then there's just everyday people, you know, the hashtag MSC Meraviglia, you know, that's legitimately just free advertising. You know, you get this beautiful, you know, just luxurious looking cruise ship and people are posting about it on social media. That's free advertising because people are going to go, you know, regardless cruiser or not, they're going to go, wow, that's a really beautiful looking ship.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah. That's, MSC. If there's anything that I've taken from this podcast tonight, it's that I'm about to book an MSC cruise. And I think I might be even canceling Star to go on World America.
You got Jerry in the chat right now going, let's do it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think after all this, that it just confirms that I need to get on an MSC ship like as soon as possible. Because I need to experience this for myself. I know Dimitri has, but even with everything else too, you know, trying to get on the seashore, I think, you know, there's a very good possibility now, especially hearing all of this, that I'd 100% be willing to cancel my Star of the Seas cruise to try out World America instead. Yeah,
I agree. And you should do it. I think you should do it.
Yeah, it's glad to hear that you had a great time though. Again, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really this.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, anyways, I hope everybody enjoyed the episode and enjoyed the review. And stay tuned for next week. I think we actually have a pre-cruise podcast with Dimitri, who's going on the Voyager in like a week or two.
Nice. Very nice. Oh, we have fun, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So thanks again for listening, watching, wherever you are, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you are. Thanks for hanging out, listening, watching, and have a good night, everyone.
You too. Everybody have a good night.
See you.